I'm your host, Davida Shinsky, and you're listening to Live Without Limits, Reach Personal Success on a Daily Basis. Today's presentation is the four attachment styles and how can they affect your relationships. There are a lot of factors that shape us into being the people that we are today. Among these factors is the relationship that we have or had with our primary caregiver when we were young. And in most cases, this is our mothers. In the 1950s, Bowlby introduced the attachment theory, which was later expanded by Mary Ainsworth. The theory suggests that there are four types of attachment. All are dependent on how we are raised and how our primary caregiver attended to our needs. The attachment style that we develop as kids grows into being one of the most crucial detriments to how we interact with others and how we navigate relationships. The four attachment styles. Secure attachment. People who were raised by caregivers who were emotionally available, warm, and loving, likely to develop a secure attachment. They become emotionally healthy adults who are secure in relationships and aren't secure of being abandoned because the caregiver was loving and trustworthy. They are capable of trusting the people around them. They are confident that the other person will do what is expected from them, and this makes it easy for them to navigate relationships. Signs include effective communication of feelings and emotions, happy to be alone, honest, does not need external validation, being empathetic, respecting boundaries, ability to disagree without losing control, supporting their partner's independence, avoidance attachment. This one also is known as the dismissive avoidance or anxious avoidant. People who have this attachment style are unable to build long-term relationships with others because of their inability to engage in physical or emotional intimacy. They do not simply decide not to be intimate. Rather, it is typical and rooted in how their caregiver interacted with them in childhood. People with avoidant attachment style has caregivers who were strict, absent, or emotionally distant. Their needs were not adequately met and they had to fend for themselves. Their emotions were never really accepted or acknowledged. As a result, they become strongly independent as they learned from the early age that they cannot rely on anyone for anything. They have, or rather, their relationships do not become emotionally deep and they do not have a need for emotional intimacy. As adults, these people might struggle to communicate their emotions, have strong sense of independence, avoid intimate relationships, have difficulty trusting other people, prefer to spend time alone with people, have a hard time understanding their emotions as well as those of others. Anxious attachment, otherwise known as anxious ambivalent or anxious preoccupied. Anxious attachment is largely characterized by fear of abandonment and rejection. There is a desire for intimacy, But there is also anxiety and doubts about abandonment. These people had a hard time trusting their caregivers because sometimes their needs were met and sometimes they weren't. As a result, they constantly seek approval and validation, despite having difficulties with expressing love or affection. They tend to feel unloved by their partners. Some of the signs among attachment are being clingy, strong fear of being abandoned, fear of being alone, constant need for reassurance, extreme jealousy in relationships, people pleasing, insecurity in relationships, disorganized attachment, also known as anxious, disorganized, or fearful avoidant. This is a blend of avoidant and anxious. There is a lot of inconsistency with these people, and they also leave and have a hard time trusting others. The attachment style results from severe or several experiences such as neglect, abuse, childhood trauma. Moreover, as a child, these people found their caregivers untrustworthy. People with this attachment style have difficulty controlling their emotions, avoid intimate relationships, conflicting behaviors, anxiety, prefer casual relationships, poor boundaries, avoid emotional involvement. Signs of both anxious and avoidant attachments. You should know your attachment style. Do you fit these four categories? Keep in mind that we are all unique and that the above categories might not match us to a T, but there is likely one which you resonate in the most. Talk therapy is one great tool that can help you figure out the attachment style that you have. And the last three styles, avoidant, anxious, and disorganized, are classified as insecure attachment styles. These have the potential to sabotage relationships that have the potential to be great. Having an understanding of your attachment style brings great closure and self awareness. It helps you understand why you do or expect certain things from your partner or the people around you. This level of self awareness helps you effectively work on some of the traits that you do not like. Since you become aware of the cause of the problem, it becomes easier for you to fix the problem. Moreover, it also helps you understand your partner even more. Knowing the reason why your partner does certain things allows you to be gentle and more understanding with them. Lastly, it also shapes how you choose to parent your children, since you know how your child will likely turn out based on particular parenting style. You choose one of the leads for the best results possible. So, let us be kind and gentle to one another, and we are products of our past. As always, speaking with your doctor, therapist, or counselor about any issues you feel have stemming from this presentation is recommended. Our goal is to educate and start conversation to help you to get help from professionals if needed. Now, the last thing that I'm going to say about it is this, that I grew up in a home where my mother was emotionally never there. But the fact is, she didn't know how to be there because her mother was never there for her. So we are definitely a product of the home we come from, and how we relate to people and how we change to improve those relationships depends on whether we really want to change when we seek out the help.